Hi everyone, Sandra Duran Wilson here, and welcome to this week's Mixed Media Soul Sparks, where every week I bring you some different ideas to spark new ways to create mixed media art, whether it's through paint or surfaces, or like today's idea, begin with red. And why would you want to begin with red rather than white? Well, because red is, I love red, it's a great color, but you're going to leave areas of the paint, you're going to leave areas of the background peeking through the paint, and this can make for some very interesting paintings. Here's one that I've done, and this is just having this red peeking through, and you can see it's just in small spots here and there. And I've done other ones with lots more red peeking through. So today I'm going to show you two ways to begin and two different products to use to create something like this. First of all, you can either use red gesso or red paint. And you can see the difference. This is the gesso and this is the paint. Now gesso, colored gessos can be more expensive. This is a carmine red by Holbein. And the difference between doing something like this and just adding red to your gesso is you're not going to get this color red by adding the paint to your gesso because it's a different base. So if you want to use gesso to get this nice matte absorbent surface, then get some colored gesso. Otherwise, this one is a pyrrole red, and that's what I painted this paper with. I had gessoed the paper first with just a white gesso, and then I came back over it with the pyrrole red. Now I know that some paint companies have just started making matte paints. So that's another option that you might want to use a matte red paint instead of the red gesso. And here's another idea of using various reds. Like I had put red iron oxide on this panel, then I came back in with a different color red and added that, and then just a little bit of the alcohol spritz. So you can build up different kinds of red. It doesn't have to be all the same red. Another idea. So for this one, I've just sketched out just a shape of a pear. And I'm going to show you two different ways to get texture and color on top of this. So what I'm using here is a regular gel semi-gloss, and you could use gloss or you could use matte, it's up to you. But you want to use a gel, and this is a light molding paste. And the reason I like the light molding paste is because, as you discovered in one of the previous videos, that it's a mixing white. So I can add colors to this, and it's not going to make it kind of chalky. It's going to lighten it. Shake this up a little. There we go. And this is a sap green, which is also kind of a yellow green, but darker. And then over here, I'm going to add a Naples yellow, which is an opaque paint, to the gel. So first of all, let's just mix this in. And I don't really want to mix it so it's perfectly homogenized. I want some kind of areas where it's thicker meaning the paint is mixed in more with the gel. In some areas where there's just more gel. And what can happen here with the knife, where it's just white, like this little area right here, because the gel is white when it's wet, but it's going to dry clear. So that is going to have the red coming through. And I can put it on as thick or thinner, leaving some of the red peeking through. And I can start to come down and work around the shape of my pear. See, even where I scratched it through, I see a lot of the red coming through. Let's go this way. I want you to be able to see the line here. I did one time an eggplant shape, like in a horizontal with the eggplant this way, and it was quite beautiful with the red. Now here I'm going to do a line here. This is the horizon line. So I want to just put this on thin, because then I'll bring a different color over that. So just to demarcate that. Oops. Don't stick your finger in it like I just did. And maybe I put about the right amount out. If not, I can always mix more. Now just going over where the stem was, because I'm going to come back in and just paint that in. Okay. So here you go. If it doesn't have to be perfect, because I can just come back in here and start to wipe some of that out. Now with the light molding paste, I want to show you how just a small amount of that paint. Let's pull a little of this in. And the green is the complement of the red. So if I have some of that red peeking through, that's really going to create this visual vibration, this interest. And if I'm looking at the light and the shadows, like if this side is where my light's coming from, I can make this side brighter by just using the light molding paste and not adding so much green to it. Now if I worked in stages, it'd be easier to hold this darn thing, but we'll make do. And then I can come back in here with some of the darker to create my shadows. So you see how this is, red is peeking through, and with that green, it's really making a nice, it's kind of a visual vibration that happens when you have the opposites. I'm not using a brush because it's difficult to get the paste with a brush. The knife works much better. And even if I wanted to do some lines like that. So this is one of the beautiful parts about beginning with red. And when this dries, I'll finish this piece and I'll show you how you can then start to add some glazes onto here and really get this piece to pop. So begin your piece with red just for a fun challenge, and you might find that you really love it, and play with some of the different ideas we talked about today. And make sure that you share your pieces on the Facebook group. We'd all like to see what you're doing. So thanks for joining me this week, and I'll see you next time. Join the Creative Awakening community on Facebook, where you'll be able to post your art, connect with other creatives around the world, and ask questions. Use the hashtag #MixedMediaSoulSparks when posting your work on social media. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week.